Hi, this is Carol Mixon from SkillCheck. I'm going to be talking today about thefts in parking areas and about people stealing the catalytic converters out of the cars. Doggone them. When I started to research this issue, I found out that there were stricter car emission rules. And the interesting thing is what's happening, these thieves have figured this out, and there is really a nationwide epidemic of a problem here. But these stricter emissions, and especially in China, because China has so many cars and they just didn't have their pollution under control, it has increased the demand for these catalytic converters and also the metals which make up the converter, which are palladium and rhodium. And I find it's so interesting because when I was finding out more about all of this, I'm thinking, wow, these two metals are more expensive than gold. And I find that just amazing. And well, obviously these thieves know it also. Because of all of the requirements of just trying to get pollution under control, now we've got this palladium and rhodium up more than gold, and rhodium is skyrocketing more than 3,000%. It's just amazing to me. So, well, how does this involve self-storage, you might wonder? Well, self-storage, when we have vehicles that we store, RV areas, this is just a perfect place for them to go to. With the rise of precious metals and on the black market, it's very easy to do. And look at the picture below. You can see where they've taken out the catalytic converter, and it's quick. It can be a couple-minute process. It doesn't even have to be something that you're using a generator for. It's just easy to do, and they can be under and out of that in just a few seconds. I thought it was taking like a couple minutes even. Not even that. It's really fast. So you have to really watch your RV and your areas where you have any kind of parking for cars or any RVs. Thieves in Phoenix stole 15 catalytic converters from YMCA buses. This is happening all over the United States. So don't think it's just in one particular area. It is everywhere now. And in fact, the problem is the people where they go to the scrap yards, they're paying really good money for this, and they know these are stolen. It's not like they don't know, but I know there's lots of legislation out there to try to keep them from doing this, but it's still happening. And in unbelievable numbers.
New at 10, aggressive thieves strike, stealing catalytic converters off of the 15 YMCA buses. Tonight, the nonprofit agency is pleading for help as it spends upwards of $50,000 to replace them and beef up security at several of its facilities. But the Y hasn't been the only target. These thieves have been very busy. Team 12's Rachel Cole joins us with details and the warning for any of us who park outside at night.
Shame on them. YMCA Director Jenna Cooper disheartened over the theft of 15 catalytic converters from its fleet.
We had one bus that was missing a catalytic converter at one of our locations. Thought it was really weird. It was obvious that it was cut out.
The first incident happening a few months ago, but the Y has seen more than a dozen more thefts at its facilities in Phoenix and Scottsdale in recent weeks. Catalytic converter thefts have become more common across the valley.
Really, the last December, January, and into February, thefts have gone through the roof.
Scottsdale police working dozens of cases, including the Y.
YMCA, other places that employ smaller buses or fleet vehicles that are going to be unattended for long periods of time.
Police say the precious metals in the converters are the driving force behind the crime.
The scrap value or the resale value of a catalytic converter is just also going up, running about $100 to $300 per converter.
The theft halting activities for kids.
We have had to cancel programs, tell kids that they can't come to the Y because we're in a crisis. We literally can't pick them up.
And creating financial headaches for staff.
We're working with our insurance company to try to get funding in place so that we can get the buses fixed immediately so we can get these kids back at the Y.
The YMCA is currently waiting for parts and labor and is hoping to get donations to get those buses back up and running for the kids. As for personal vehicles, police say to keep them parked in well-lit areas with high foot traffic. Rachel Cole, 12.
Well, it's pretty interesting, isn't it? So it's not just the self-storage industry that it's hitting. I think the other thing that to think about is that, we need to really increase our security rounds. It's so important to be able to do that because if we do that, these thieves We'll go specifically for that RV areas. So even walking out on the property and making sure that, we're doing rounds on a regular basis. No one's coming over the fences, or that because probably pretty commonly, just like any theft we have in self-storage, they may be renting from us too. So they may find a really small space somewhere close to the RV areas. So watch for that and be on the lookout. If you're watching your surveillance system, that will help also. Even if you have to stay in the office more, just keep watching those cameras and keep those cameras on that RV area if you need to. If you've had any kind of problems or suspect you've got someone there that's looking at doing this. Make sure that your property is really well lit. And that to me is so important, is to make sure that the lighting's there, especially in that RV and around the property in general. Also, tenant insurance coverage of theft. You may check with your tenant insurance carrier to find out whether they cover the theft of the catalytic converters, because that's important. It's important to customers to know. And because I've already heard from several people that their insurance didn't pay for this, and that was very frustrating, because not only like for example, a big RV, it was really expensive. It wasn't just like a normal car. So the catalytic converter on that RV was, I think it was over $1,000. It was like, wow. I was shocked about that, but that's a big hit. And then insurance doesn't even help with that. So that's not good news for us. So we as an industry need to be diligent. Well, thank you so much for watching. And again, this is Carol Mixon from SkillCheck. You can reach me at 1-800-374-7545 or carol@skillcheck.com. Or you can go to our website. That would be another great place to find me, or to get around to seeing what we do, but it's www.skillcheck.com. Thanks for listening, and happy renting.